Well, that was unexpected. Today, Nintendo announced a Nintendo Direct for tomorrow. This is not the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that is taking place next week on April 2nd. This is an entirely new thing. Nintendo announced that this would be a 30-minute long presentation talking about Nintendo Switch 1 games. No note of Nintendo Switch 2 during this presentation. It starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. I was going to make a joke about having to wake up early, but honestly, I was already going to be up at that point, so sure, why not? Today, I was actually getting ready to record a prediction video for the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, but then I heard the news about this, so I figured, let's talk about this thing. So, I think this is coming out at a kind of a weird time. I mean, obviously you got 6 days before the Switch 2 Direct. You think anything new that you wanted to show off, you would just wait until then. But I guess Nintendo just is not done with the Switch 1 yet. And I guess that kind of makes sense. I understand why they would want to not necessarily give up on the Switch 1 just yet. Back when the Switch was first coming out, they still supported the 3DS through the good first 2 years of the Switch's life, and everyone was kind of like, why? You've got this success of a console right now, why are you still supporting this thing? And I think they're going to follow suit, just because I don't see them really changing things up too much. So if I'm being honest, I would probably expect a few more Switch 1 Directs in the coming years. I'm not saying there's going to be many of them, and I'm not saying they're going to overpower whatever they've got for the Switch 2, but I mean, looking at patterns, we were getting 3DS Directs while the Switch was doing the whole existence thing. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't continue that. So even though, Nintendo's going to want to support the Switch 2 as it begins its life cycle, I don't think we're going to see the end of the Switch 1. I don't think Xenoblade Chronicles X was going to be the last Nintendo Switch game. So while yes, I think that a lot of the Switch 1 stuff that has been talked about it's probably going to stay Switch 1, as cool as I think it would be to see games like Metroid Prime 4 or Pokemon Legends ZA make the jump to next gen, I don't know. I don't think it will, just because it's already been shown off for the Switch. They've already had the plan to put it on Switch. Me personally, I don't see why they would put time into making it a Switch 2 game. That's not saying that they won't, and I would be more than happy to be wrong here. But just kind of looking at patterns, I don't know. I just don't see it. Especially since, most Switch 1 games are going to be playable on Switch 2 anyway. I don't necessarily see a reason for them to implement that kind of cross-gen thing unless they were doing an upgrade system. But if that were the case, they would still have no problem just releasing or revealing it tomorrow. But that's a whole lot of technical whatever. The important thing here is trying to figure out what games they're going to talk about. I think the one that everyone is pretty solid on, there's no real I don't know about this, is going to be Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I think we're going to get a new look at this. Maybe a release date, that'd be pretty cool, especially if it were in that kind of a May or June thing before the Switch 2 releases, assuming it follows suit with what everyone else has been saying it has been. But I think seeing something for Metroid Prime 4 coming out on Switch 1, this would be the big thing to get them going for tomorrow. Outside of that, we know absolutely nothing in terms of what they're going to show off. Oh, people will infer that maybe Pokemon Legends will make an appearance. However, I really don't think that that's the case, because we just got our first real glimpse of gameplay last month at the Pokemon Presents. I kind of held out hope that maybe we were going to see it in the Switch 2 Direct and it was going to be revealed as a cross-gen thing, and that might still be the case. But as time goes on, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe this isn't actually happening the way I want it to, which isn't a bad thing. Either way, we're still getting the game. It's still going to be playable on old Switch, new Switch, everything. But yeah, outside of those, we know basically nothing as to what Nintendo's been working on, aside from Switch 2 stuff, which, I mean, even those details have been sparing. We know that they're working on the system. Mario Kart. I don't know. So the majority of this direct is just going to be like, well, what's next then? And I think that's going to be a lot of, it's going to be very remaster port heavy. I don't see them coming up with any new original games for the Switch. With the Switch 2, like here, it's basically here. It's not, but it is. And so I don't really see Nintendo wanting to do a bunch of brand new games for their old system that they could save for the new system. So while yes, I think maybe this is kind of spoiling a little bit of the Switch 2 prediction video, but while, you know, I could see the possibility of a new 3D Kirby being talked about next week, or a new Fire Emblem, while I think those games are, in a way, they could be expected for something, I don't think they're going to save the new 3D Kirby for a Switch 1 Direct. I think they are going to want to put that on their new system, because they want Kirby on the new system as soon as possible. That's kind of the interesting part about this, is we don't know what they're going to do. We don't, like, they have such a wide library, they can pretty much grab from whatever generation they want. They can do a remake of the Super Mario Brothers for all we know. Why not? They're Nintendo, we'll buy it anyway, why not? Or like something from the Nintendo 64, maybe a remake of Ocarina of Time, or just something. There could be anything, is where I'm getting at. There could be literally anything that they could be wanting to talk about. And I think that's kind of exciting, because again, we don't know anything. Nothing's really been talked about. The only thing that was really talked about was the fact that a presentation was happening this week. And even then, we didn't think it was going to be a full direct. It was just going to an indie world or a partner showcase or even a mini. I don't think any of us were expecting a full Nintendo Direct. I just thought about this. Wouldn't it be really funny if after 4 years of Zelda fans waiting and waiting and waiting, now is the time to put Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on Switch? Don't get me wrong, I'd buy it, I'd play it, I think that's cool. But I mean, outside of that, what do Zelda fans have to look forward to? Not much. They don't, as far as I'm aware, there's no game on the docket right now. Probably the next big 3D one, whenever that comes out. But we just had a big 3D one with Tears of the Kingdom in 2023. We just got a new 2D Zelda with Echoes of Wisdom in 2024. What else do they have to do except for remasters? I suppose this could be a pretty decent time for Koei Tecmo to step in and do a new Warriors game, whether it be Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, or, you know, taking a new Nintendo franchise that they haven't really done much with, and done something about that. Make a Warriors game on that. I heard this idea back in 2017 from a YouTube channel about Amiibo Warriors, where you could scan in an Amiibo and then you could use that as a fighter, and God, I love that idea. I just really want an excuse to use all of those Amiibo I have just hanging out. But in terms of logical, just like, here's what we could see, there's not much. So I guess it's pretty much just in terms of, you know, what do I want to see? And I don't know either. Of course, I'm going to be happy to see really anything. If it's, even if it's an RPG, if it's, you know, a new Golden Sun game. But I think the one thing that, if I heard about it, I would kind of get, like, really genuinely excited about is, you know, if they finally did something with Tomodachi Life. That 3DS game is so expensive and so hard to find nowadays, and that is dissuading me from playing it. But I've heard nothing but great things about it, and people have been wanting a sequel or a port or something for so long. I think now's the time. You already did it kind of with Miitopia. Just do it again. I don't know, maybe add some more content. I would also be very giddy to see a new Star Fox game. I don't think that it will happen. I think if it does, again, they're going to want to wait until Switch 2. But I don't know. Part of me just thinks that, You know, they're like, yeah, Star Fox, you can go on Switch 1. That way we can say we put a Star Fox game on the Switch. Or maybe F-Zero 99 was just a test to see if, you know, players still cared about the series, and then that would propel them to make another F-Zero game. Maybe they're going to show one of those off. That's the thing, we don't know. And I know I sound like a broken record, but truly we don't know. This is an unprecedented thing for any company, really, to put out a direct for your old system less than a week before your new one comes out. I feel like I'm getting 2 Christmases right now. This tomorrow, and then the Switch 2 Direct next week. As a Nintendo fan, I'm very happy and very excited for this. However, I'm also a little concerned. Because again, this Switch 2 Direct is in 6 days. I'm not going into this expecting much. And I feel like a lot of other people aren't either. So my expectations are like, normally here, right now they're... Do I think the presentation itself is going to be bad? No. But am I going to, you know, expect a new 3D Mario game, or, you know, this big thing that, you know, warrants a Nintendo Direct existing? No. I think that's a little unrealistic at this point in the cycle. Doesn't mean it won't happen. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be thrilled if it does. I don't see it happening. At least not this week. Next week, fully prepared for it. Next week, I'm all hands on deck, expecting anything and everything to happen. The possibilities with this Direct tomorrow are really endless. We could see something that will get someone excited, and that in and of itself is exciting. You could get Star Fox 3, you could get Chibi Robo 6, Fling Smash 2. Why not? The Nintendo Switch has already given us so many great experiences. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have done a 23-minute video talking about all of my experiences. And I know I kind of talked a lot of crap about some of them, but that doesn't mean I didn't have fun with them. Logistically speaking, I think this Direct will be a lot of remakes, remasters, ports, third-party games, and Metroid Prime 4. That's what I expect, what I want. Obviously, I want all the goods. Give them to me now. April 2nd is going to take my soul. But we gotta remember, even though there are 2 Directs happening within a week of each other, we have to reel in expectations just a little bit. And remember that even though tomorrow's Direct may not be that exciting, we still have another one in less than a week. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. But of course, we want to know, what do you think? Head on over to the comments section and let us know your thoughts.
Say, wow, I like the Nintendo Switch.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all things Oops All Games and Fox, Illinois.